Not with a stage light, not with screaming fans, not with a sold-out stadium chanting his name, but with a quiet list. A financial ranking. Numbers on paper. And right there, among powerful executives, tech founders, and heirs of major corporations, appeared a name that millions around the world know by heart: Jungkook. For years, the world has seen Jungkook as the golden magne of BTS, the youngest member, the powerhouse vocalist, the performer who seems born for the spotlight. But this moment revealed something different, something far less visible, yet just as powerful. Jungkook had officially entered the list of top shareholders in South Korea, and the news sent a ripple through both the entertainment industry and the financial world. At first glance, it felt almost unreal. How does a boy who once trained endlessly in cramped practice rooms rise to stand among Korea's most influential investors? How does a global K-pop idol quietly become a major shareholder, not through inheritance, but through strategy, discipline, and long-term vision? The story doesn't begin with wealth. It begins with pressure. From a very young age, Jungkook lived under a microscope. Every performance analyzed, every mistake magnified, every success expected to be bigger than the last. BTS didn't just rise. They carried the weight of redefining K-pop on a global scale. And Jungkook, despite being the youngest, bore that weight with relentless dedication. While the world saw fame, what happened behind the scenes was a crash course in responsibility. As BTS grew into a global phenomenon, so did their understanding of longevity. Fame is loud, but it is also fragile. Jungkook watched how trends changed, how artists rose and disappeared, how success without structure could vanish overnight. Somewhere between world tours and studio sessions, a quieter curiosity began to form about ownership, about stability, about building something that could last beyond applause. This is where the story takes a turn. Unlike the stereotype of celebrities spending without thought, Jungkook chose patience. He didn't chase flashy headlines or risky ventures. Instead, he leaned into something far more powerful: equity, shares, ownership, a seat at the table, not just on the stage. When news emerged that Jungkook had become one of the top young shareholders in Korea, many were shocked. Not because he lacked the means, but because of the restraint it implied. Shareholding is not about instant gratification. It's about believing in the future. It's about trusting growth over time. And Jungkook did exactly that. As an artist closely tied to the evolution of Hybe and the modern K-pop business model, Jungkook witnessed firsthand how creative industries intersect with corporate strategy. He didn't just perform under the system, he learned how it worked. This understanding transformed him from talent into stakeholder, from employee into partner. Halfway through this story, something becomes clear. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't a celebrity stumbling into investment. This was a calculated, thoughtful move by someone who understood that true power in the modern world comes from ownership. Jungkook didn't just help build global success. He invested in it, and that realization changes everything. It reframes Jungkook not only as a pop icon, but as a symbol of a new generation of Korean artists, artists who understand contracts, stocks, governance, and long-term value. Artists who refuse to be temporary. As the news spread, fans reacted with pride. Not just because Jungkook was wealthy, but because he was wise. He had stepped into a space traditionally closed off to entertainers and claimed it quietly, confidently, without spectacled. In a country where financial rankings are dominated by chaebol families and corporate elites, Jungkook's presence on that list told a powerful story. Talent, when paired with discipline and foresight, can cross any boundary. Music opened the door, but intention kept him inside. And perhaps the most fascinating part is what Jungkook didn't say. There was no dramatic announcement, no celebratory post, no victory speech. The list spoke for itself. In silence, Jungkook demonstrated a maturity that matched his talent. While others debated trends, he invested in foundations. This moment also signals something larger for BTS as a whole. As members continue their individual paths and prepare for the future, Jungkook's move highlights how idols today are redefining success. Not just charts and awards, but influence, sustainability, and control over their own narratives. So when people ask, what does this really mean? The answer is simple and profound. It means Jungkook is no longer just part of the industry, but he owns a piece of it. And that changes how the future looks, because long after the lights dim and the stages go quiet, ownership remains. Influence remains. Vision remains. Jungkook's name on that list isn't just a financial milestone. It's a message.